Meow, 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 meow. Everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here, Ethereum. I don't really care whether or not the ETF got approved or not. Like, it's honestly, if you just look at the assets here, it's been looking extremely bullish. It's been finding support. It's been looking like it's forming higher lows and higher highs. It's been wanting to move up a lot. And this asset is a growth asset. It's been following cycles very, very closely, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit on the Gann Square, trying to tell you a little bit of tail. Ichimoku Cloud trying to tell you a little bit of tail. The Bollinger Band is trying to tell you a little bit of tail. And I tell you where we are in this cycle compared to last, what I think anyway, and also tell you in terms of how far we're going to end up heading up in terms of price target potentials and things like that. Very first of all, yes, the ETF got approved. Yay, great news. Do I care? No. The reason why is I've always find it to not be a very smart thing to think, oh, this asset is going to go up higher because the ETF got approved. There's a reason why the ETF got approved is because it's a speculative asset that's been around for almost 10 years now and is actually got fundamental reasons for it to go up. First of all, the tokenomics has changed drastically. Second of all, you have the ability to make smart contracts, and there's so many speculative use for Ethereum that it hasn't really even been tapped in yet. A lot of people think, oh, it's useful for like altcoin season to pump everything. Oh, NFTs, decentralized finance. There are a lot of these narratives out there, but Ethereum has a lot of potentials that I don't think has even been tapped into yet. And because of the speculative nature, because it's growth assets, and because there is going to be liquidity cycles that go through from year to year, you're going to end up having a lot of volatility, but overall the price of Ethereum is going to go up. And the market cap for Ethereum is going to go up over time. When it gets to a certain point where it's less and less speculative and the price is more and more stable, and when the price is getting higher and higher, it's starting to capture the attention for institutional holders and institutional interest overall, that's when the point of you end up changing the opinion of the regulators. That's when you're getting to a point where you end up getting an approval of the ETF. It's not the other way around. It's not because ETF got approved and the price is going to go higher from there. That's not how it works. Fund was going to flow in it anyway. Having ETF is just a channel for it to happen. If you look at overall trend, ever since its inception, it's been going up. And if you look at a more smaller time frame, you just look at the, over the last 2 years or so, it's just been forming higher highs and higher lows as a bull trend, right? These things go through cycles. It's very well illustrated here on the Gann Square, where Ethereum has basically from one cycle to another, just going from one of these arc to another. From the inception for the first few years, it really pushed through several arcs to get to a higher arc right here and got rejected, right? Do a little bit of consolidation here for about a year and a half, build up a lot more energy because the people up here, when things went through, pushed through a few arcs right here, they're going to want to take some profit, right? So they did. And when they took profit, it's going to take about 2 years or so to try to sort things out, find some support, find some demand, found demand, push through this arc over here, went to the next arc during the last cycle, right? Again, went way too far, way too fast, needed consolidation, went down the arc, kind of like it did over here, went down the arc, found some support right down here. And right now we push through the arc and we're trying to find support over here. Looks like this 45-degree angle may be very, very good support. Trying to push price higher. Could it reach the ring out here? Could it reach the arc out here? Very possible. I actually think it's very possible that it could because of the great consolidation that has happened. The next natural target is actually going to be this horizontal line right here, which is around 18,000. And it could be confluent with the lower part of this arc right here. That could be a potential target right there. Or it could push beyond to the outer ring, to the outer arc right here. And it could get up to, potentially like the mid 20,000, maybe 25,000 or something like that, if it ends up finishing a cycle kind of like it did over here. Now, one thing about Gann is it doesn't just tell you the resistance and support level. it also tells you in terms of what the cycles are behaving. It also tells you what it's doing through time, right? Looks like beginning you ran through a couple of cycles all at once, but then after that, this whole thing right here looks like a cycle, and I think this whole thing right here really mirrors what this whole cycle has been doing. This whole move up here looked very, very similar to this whole move up here, where it's just trying to break away from the arcs, trying to break up above to the next arc. I think we're looking some very, very similar morphology over here. There are a lot of reasons for me to believe that this part right here that we're at right now may be very, very similar to this area over here back in the mid to late 2020. There's a lot of correlation between here and there based on a lot of different indicators. I'm going to show you why I think that is. The key one is, I mean, I'm going to get rid of the again square over here for just a second. The key one is if you look at the Ichimoku cloud, what you're going to see is the Ichimoku cloud give you a couple lines over here, the Tenkan and Kijin, right? When you have the Tenkan and Kijin line crossing with the Tenkan, which is the blue line over here, crossing back above the red line, which is the Kijin, we have a bullish cross that happens. Generally, it happens right before a big move. Now, that move can come maybe a couple months after that, but generally that can precipitate a great move upwards afterwards, right? I'm not really able to show you the example from the cycle before because we really didn't have the Kijin until maybe around like 2017 or so. But during the last cycle, that illustrates that. And this happens all along a lot of different assets. I can show you this with IWM, with the small caps. I can show you that with Bitcoin. I can show you that with like Mara. I can show you that with a lot of different assets. Whenever you have this bullish monthly cross over here, bullish TK cross, the Tenkan Kijin cross over here, you can have a pretty significant bull trend that happens afterwards. We had that cross back in February 2024, so that's probably part of the reason why I think this area over here is very, very similar to this area over here. If we had the cloud over here, I don't know what it would look like. It looks like we starting to form a little bit of cloud over here, but this cycle basically broke through the cloud, back tested the cloud. It looks like we're ready to run. Like whenever you have something that ends up flipping potential resistance over here for a couple of months, flip it into resistance over here. It looks like we got a very, very good bounce over here. We also didn't just bounce off the cloud. We also bounced off the Kijin, sorry, not the Kijin, the Tenkan line over here too as support. We found very, very good support over here, together with the fact that it's 0.5 Fibonacci level retracement from the previous all-time high to the cycle low, right? Like we hit the 0.5 Fibonacci level almost perfectly, and we initially got rejected from 0.786, get back down here, build up energy. Looks like it's probably ready to run and push up a lot higher soon. The current minor sell-off doesn't really bother me. If it sells off even more, that's great. I don't care. I think anything that's really under the 0.786, under $4,000, it's probably a good deal. Because I see a lot of correlate between this area over here and this area over here, and there could be a big, potential parabolic bull run that could happen pretty soon for Ethereum if this theory is correct, if you believe in cycle, right? The other thing is, if you look at the Bollinger Band, again, why I think that this area over here is very similar to this area over here is this. You start to have a lot of Bollinger Band contraction over here because price has been going sideways for about a year and a half, 2 years, right? Having Bollinger Band squeeze tells you the big move's going to come. Whenever Bollinger Band starts squeeze right here, and you have a couple big moves up like that, this is the move that has really starting to expand the Bollinger Band allowing price to go up higher over time. But the first time you push, you're going to get some pushback, and you're going to have some sideways consolidation like it did over here from August, September, and October 2020. You're going to end up having some pushback over here because things just going to naturally go up, right? And you can see that initial sideways action here actually did cause a little bit of Bollinger Band contraction here a little bit, right? I think we're seeing that maybe that effect here a little bit over here too. But the next move after that is going to be further Bollinger Band expansion and price just riding up on the upper Bollinger Band up on this bull trend until you get exhausted, right? That's going to be the next natural move based on the Bollinger Band appearance, based on what the Bollinger Band looks like it's doing. You can also see the 20-month moving average, the median is pointing up, so that tells you that there's a lot of momentum going up over here, just like it did over here, right? Matter of fact, if you just look over here, the bear market really just started reversing a few months ago, and it really is getting confirmation over here, both from the Bollinger Band with the 20-month moving average pointing up, as well as from the Ichimoku cloud with the bullish Tenkan Kijin cross, right? So a lot of things are telling you, hey, this part over here looks very, very similar to this part over here, and you could end up running up pretty fast when it happens, right? A couple other things too. If you look at the wealth and flow indicator, you can see that we're at kind of like the beginning, mid beginning stage of the wealth fund flow, kind of like we did over here during this consolidation phase. We have increase in wealth fund flow coming in. Same thing over here, we're in a consolidation phase, but the wealth inflow has been constantly increasing. So that tells me that this consolidation may be a reaccumulation, right? One other thing too to show you is naturally when you have a big accumulation period over here, just like it did over here, there's a lot of whales, a lot of greedy whales have already accumulated, and they were going to try to pump up the assets after they accumulated and reset the whole sentiment to like crap. And they're going to try to change the sentiment by pushing the price up a lot higher, letting you guys to be exit liquidity. If you guys end up buying higher, get convinced that this trend is just going to go higher and higher, that's when you become exit liquidity, right? Well, the whole thing is they spend so much time accumulating, they're going to want to overheat this whole thing up, and they're going to want to make a lot of money from it. If you look over at the RSI, pretty much the cycle tops are marked by some pretty strong RSI overbought conditions, right? The thing about even when it's overbought, it can cool down and keep on making another leg up on a bearish divergence, right? RSI can trend down, but it can still make another leg up, right? So what happens here is essentially this. What my expectation would be this. I think the RSI has a trend line over here that it might end up being resistance for Ethereum on its way up, right? Right now, we're still pretty far away from this trend line over here. What's going to end up happening, I suspect, is that it might end up hitting some of the higher targets over here on this parabolic bull trend. That could happen soon. It might end up hitting 1.618, 2.618, probably 2.618 is my best guess. By the time it hits up there, just eyeballing RSI, I bet the RSI is probably going to hit this trend line right there. It's going to get rejected. And when it gets rejected, it's going to go sideways, either at 1.61 or 2.618. Going to go sideways here a little bit, right? Cool down, or it might go down a level, right? And the RSI is going to cool down, and it's going to make a lower high, and price is going to go up higher, make another leg up on bearish divergence. And that's when you really get exhausted. That's when everybody who bought, really up here when RSI trend line is being touched right here, that's when everybody who bought on this last leg over here, they might end up being exit liquidity, end up back holding during the entire, bear trend over here. That's what I'm kind of seeing. I'm seeing RSI going up, getting rejected, make a lower high, make another leg up higher before going down. That's what I'm seeing, right? We're nowhere near being overheated here on the monthly. We're nowhere near being overheated on here on the monthly. So I want to reiterate that point. If you look at the weekly chart, I'll show you something too. Why I think that the current area over here is very similar to the area over here before the big giant, bull run. I'll show you why. One thing is, if you look at the bull market support band, it looks the same. You see this like curve right here, where it ran up to here. It didn't really quite touch it and make another big run up, and then came back and touched it, right? I see a lot of correlate between over here, this big giant appearance over here, this fractal over here that you're seeing. It's basically the same fractal that you're seeing over here, right? When you have a bounce off of the bull market support band, that's when you have a big giant move up, right? So far, we have a bounce off of the bull market support band. And this action looks very impulsive. It looks like, touch the fit level 0.5. Nope, just going to get back above the bull market support band. We're going to bounce from it, and we're going to bounce it pretty hard. Get close to the next fit level over here, which is a 0.786. So far, getting rejected, it is an asset. It has to follow physics. And when things are just way outside the daily Bollinger Band, has to kind of go sideways and cool down here a little bit, right? Before its next continuation. Like even the last bull trend, if you try and look at this very similar, kind of morphology, like it is respecting the daily Bollinger Band very, very nicely. It is respecting the daily Bollinger Band very, very nicely. Sure, you're gonna have some like daily candle looks like crazy like that, but you're gonna end up getting punished for it before going higher, right? So I don't have any problem right now with the fact that price just kind of went way up just a few days ago, and it's just been consolidating sideways, doing a whole lot of nothing. I don't have any problems with that. That's why people have blue flags. That's why cats have blue flags, because you want to make sure that you respect gravity, that you respect Bollinger Bands. That's what it's doing. I'm not really that concerned. I want to show you something else too. Like, how do I know that this whole thing is going to be going up, right? You already knew that if you look at the monthly Ichimoku cloud, like it's again, I already showed you it. Turn resistance into support, so it's going higher. Look at the 2 week. The 2 week looks even more beautiful, right? The 2 week looks even more beautiful. Like it pushed up on increasing volume, and then it back tested the top of the 2 week Ichimoku cloud 3 times. Tap tap tap. Oh, found support, going up higher, right? The kitchen was also down here too. Also tapped that as well. Found support, going higher. Bull trend. That's what happens, right? Are we hitting resistance right around here? Yes. Should you have bought over here instead of buying over here? Yes. If you bought over here, are you going to worry that it's just going to keep going down here? Probably not, right? You're probably still going to do pretty darn good if you bought over there. Over time, you're not going to feel very good right now if you end up buying the top of the wick right here, but like to me, it's all irrelevant. I think anything that's under $4,000 is probably still a good buy. And I'm going to change back here on the monthly, and I'm going to try to bring my Gantt square that I drew back over here. And I'm going to tell you in terms of what I might expect that price may do moving forward. First of all, nobody really knows, but I can speculate. What I'm going to speculate is, again, what I told you. Price is riding up on the 45-degree angle, probably going to go higher. There's not really a whole lot of resistance here on the Gantt square. You already passed through this big giant ring of resistance over here. It's riding 45-degree going up. On the way up, you're going to get some resistance here on the Fibonacci levels, which is all completely expected, by the way. It can probably hit the top of, not sorry, the arc right here at the bottom part of this arc right here. It's probably going to hit that. It may not. If it ends up, being like 11,000 or something like that, then so be it, right? It's probably going to hit that. Whether or not it goes beyond that to like the outer ring over here to like the 25,000 range, it really depends on what the cycle does. To me, I'm going to start taking profit around 216.18 because that's already like 2 or 3x from here. Is there still some juice to potentially go up higher? Sure. Could it hit like 25,000? Sure. I'm saying I'm going to start taking profits over here. I'm going to leave a bag to ride up higher just in case, right? Because you do have to have some risk assessment in terms of how much risk tolerance you want to take. What if the cycle ends right there? I still make my profit and I still do pretty well, right? But I also would like to ride up a little higher just in case. I'm also gonna kind of maybe keep maybe like 10 to 15%. I might never sell. I might ride down the circle over here, get back to like 5,000, 6,000, who knows, and then maybe even like 4,000, 3,000, who knows. Like I don't care. I'm gonna take majority of my profit over here. And just in case if I'm wrong, if it ends up being like super cycle going up higher, I doubt that happens. Like, just look at these growth, like speculative growth assets, like they always go for cycles. So I doubt that's going to happen. But if it does happen, great. I have owned enough, and I would just keep riding up higher. Regardless, I would have made my profit right around here, and that's kind of what I'm seeing now. What I'm saying could be completely wrong. This could have been the top, and it could have just something could have happened onto the economy, just drop underneath 45-degree angle. Next thing you know, it goes back to like $500, right? I could be completely wrong. I don't know anything, but this is kind of what I'm seeing. And when you are investing, when you're trading, when you're getting into the cycle, you have to follow the trend. The trend says that it's going to go up, and you want to look at previous fractals I just showed you in terms of what I think is going to happen. If you look at RSI, there's no reason for whales to stop pumping it because we're not even really that overbought. And people aren't really even talking about Ethereum that much. Like your regular Joe, like they don't really care. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Bye.